Yo, what's up, guys? It's Noah here. And in today's video, we're going to be talking through a couple NFL player props that I like for this Saturday for the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. For this video specifically, guys, we're going to be giving out two props that I like for the two games on Saturday. We do have sort of a split slate once again, where we have two games on Saturday and then two games on Sunday. And like I did last week, I do plan on making a video for each slate. So obviously the video I'm making now is for the two games on Saturday, and then I do plan on making a video for the two games on Sunday. That video will probably go up like later on Saturday night. So be on the lookout for that if you want some props for Sunday's games. But for this video specifically, we're going to talk about two games on Saturday, Ravens and Texans, and then we'll talk about the 49ers and Packers. I do have two props I like for today. We're going to give out a prop that I like from each game. So before we talk through these two plays, guys, as always, if you guys do enjoy these Prizepicks videos, if they do help you out, make sure you hit that like button down below. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And if you guys are new to Prizepicks and if you don't have an account over on Prizepicks, you can sign up linked down below in the description, or just use that promo code NOAH when you do sign up for Prizepicks, and you will get your first deposit matched up to $100. Also want to shout out Sleeper, because we do have a partnership with Sleeper as well. If you guys don't have an account over on Sleeper, you can sign up for Sleeper, use promo code NOAH over there, and you'll get your first deposit matched up to $500. Now, if you don't know what Sleeper is, they are an app similar to Prizepicks. They're similar to a lot of the DFS pick'em apps you see around the industry. But on Sleeper, you are able to win up to 100x your money. Sleeper offers a lot of the major sports that you see, like NFL, MLB, NBA, college football, college basketball, NHL. All those sports are available over on Sleeper. Again, you can win up to 100x your money over there. If you guys want to check out Sleeper, make an account, sign up, use that promo code NOAH, and when you do, you'll get your first deposit matched up to $500. But yeah, guys, we got two props to talk about for Saturday's NFL games. We're going to give out a prop from each game. So we'll first start off with the Texans and Ravens game. And the prop that I like in this game is going to be Isaiah Likely. And we're going to talk about two props here. Personally, I like over 37.5 receiving yards, but I also kind of like over 9.5 fantasy score. Likely, he has had a really big role lately without Mark Andrews, and we've already gotten official confirmation that Mark Andrews is not going to play on Saturday. It looks like if the Ravens win this game, that Andrews will have a chance to return next week if they were to win this game. So we're going to see Isaiah Likely continue to operate as the number one tight end for the Ravens, and Likely has been really good as their number one tight end. He's a good pass catcher. You look at what he's done in his recent games without Mark Andrews. He's had some big games, 83 receiving yards against the Rams, 70 against the Jaguars, 56 against San Francisco, 42 against Miami, 31 against Pittsburgh. And some of these were tough matchups too, like against Pittsburgh, against the 49ers. Like, these are tough teams, to go up against, especially like against tight ends and just overall. Well, this matchup against the Texans is really good. The Texans have been a relatively bad defense this season, especially against the pass and against the tight end position. And if you look at what they've given up to tight ends, they're giving up the second most targets to the tight end position. They're tied with the Bengals for most receptions allowed to tight ends, and the Texans have allowed the fifth most receiving yards to the tight end position. So the matchup here is great for Isaiah Likely. The role has been really good. You look at his snap counts just over the last 7 games that he's played without Mark Andrews. 74%, 73%, 79%, 74%, 74%, 63%. Now, last week, he did only play 33% of the snaps, but if you remember that game against Pittsburgh, that was a game where the Ravens rested pretty much all their starters. Like, Lamar didn't play last week. There's a couple other key guys that didn't play last week. Well, Likely did play last week, but he didn't have like a full workload. And that's one of the reasons he went under this receiving yard prop last week was because he only played 19 snaps. Well, he'll be back to a full workload here, should play 70+% of the snaps. And when Likely has been on the field for 70+% of the snaps, he's been able to get 38 receiving yards in a lot of those games. And you look at the targets as well, like he's had decent volume. He hasn't had like elite volume, but just over their last 6 games, 6, 7, 6, 4, 3, and then 2 targets. Again, take last week with a grain of salt, because Likely did not really play a full workload. He didn't play most of the game against Pittsburgh because they didn't really have to win that game. It was a meaningless game for the Ravens. Well, this week, he's going to be back to a full role with Lamar Jackson back at quarterback. It's a great matchup against a Texans team that has really struggled against tight ends this season. And Likely, again, been really good with Mark Andrews out of the lineup. I like the spot quite a bit for Isaiah Likely. So honestly, both these plays look pretty good. Like if you look at last week, Likely did go under his receiving yards prop last week, but he went over his fantasy score, and that was because he caught a touchdown. He had 2 catches for 31 yards last week, but he did have a touchdown. So it's kind of pick your poison here. Obviously, if Likely scores a touchdown, you're going to be looking really good if you take his over fantasy score. I think if he goes over receiving yards, he probably goes over fantasy score as well. I don't think it's a guarantee, but really both these props I like quite a bit for Likely here. I think it's a really good matchup. I like the spot a lot, and I definitely think these lines are a little bit low. I mean, Likely has shown the ability to be a really good pass-catching tight end when he's been able to get the playing time, and the playing time is going to be there with Mark Andrews out. So that's the first prop I like from the Ravens and Texans game. And then looking to the late night game, the 49ers and the Packers, we're going to go back to a prop that we took last week. It's the exact same line that it was last week, and I like it again. We're going to be looking at Jordan Love's fantasy score, 16.5, and give me the over of 16.5 fantasy score for Jordan Love. Now, if you look at Jordan Love's last 5 games, it looks really good because he just continues to crush. I mean, he's gone over this fantasy score in 5 straight games. He's gone over this fantasy score in 9 out of his last 10 games. Jordan Love, he's just been playing incredibly well lately. He's been throwing for a ton of yards, been getting a ton of touchdowns. He's had at least 2 passing touchdowns in 9 out of his last 10 games. He's just playing great right now. Now, this is a spot where the Packers, they're going on the road into San Francisco in a tough matchup where they're almost 10-point underdogs. Like maybe this is the spot where Jordan Love finally comes back down to earth and maybe he just goes out there and shits the bed, but I like what I've been seeing from Jordan Love. The market continues to project him very highly. Like if you look at his props once again this week, I mean, he's got some high lines, 251.5 pass yards. He's a guy that does have some rushing ability. His rush yards prop is only set at 7.5, but he's had games this season with 30 plus rush yards. He had 39 rush yards earlier this season against the Saints, 37 against the Raiders, 34 against Minnesota. Like he can provide you some mobility. And if you look at his passing touchdowns prop, Prizepicks actually has that set as a goblin, which means if you take the over on this, it gives you a lower payout. I would definitely not do that. If I was going to take an over on these 2 props, I would just take fantasy score. I think if Jordan Love throws 2 touchdowns, it's very likely he goes over his fantasy score as well. And there's definitely a chance he could only throw 1 touchdown, but still go over his fantasy score because he can give you some rushing ability. He has had 4 rushing touchdowns this season, so I don't like the Goblin. I don't like taking that for a lower payout because, like, if you look at DK Sportsbook right now, they actually have Jordan Love's passing touchdowns prop at 1.5, pretty much set at even money. Now, Pinnacle does have Jordan Love's passing touchdowns prop juiced minus 130, favoring the over, which obviously we do like to see. But I would not play this on Prizepicks for a lower payout. I would just take fantasy score because you got to think with fantasy score, if Jordan Love throws for 250 yards like he's projected to, if he throws 2 touchdowns, if he gets you 5-10 rushing yards, well, that's going to be like 19 fantasy points. And even if he throws like 1 or 2 picks, he'll still that would still be enough to put him over this fantasy score. So I like fantasy score most here for Jordan Love. The matchup, it might not be the best. The 49ers do have a good defense, but the 49ers have also been really good against the run this season. They've been like one of the toughest teams to run on. They're giving up the 2nd fewest rushing yards this season. And I know that Aaron Jones has looked awesome lately. He ran for over 100 yards against the Cowboys. I think he's run for over 100 yards in like 4 straight games. I could definitely see this being a spot where the Packers struggle a little bit to run the ball. I think they're going to have to throw the ball in this game because, I mean, they're 10-point underdogs. It's pretty likely they're going to be playing from behind. The sports books, they're expecting Jordan Love to have to throw the ball a lot. I mean, he has a 36.5 pass attempts prop, which I'm pretty sure is the highest of any quarterback this week. Jordan Love has the highest pass attempts prop of any quarterback this week. So clearly the books are expecting a lot of pass attempts here for Jordan Love. And if he's going to be passing it a lot, if he's going to be getting passing yards, I think he's got a good chance to get passing touchdowns, which obviously means fantasy points. And that's what we're banking on here. And I was looking at Sleeper. They offer fantasy score projections in Sleeper. They currently have their line on Jordan Love set at 18.5. So they have their line 2 points higher than what Prizepicks does. I think Prizepicks, once again, is under projecting Jordan Love a little bit here. I would probably put this line at like 17.5, 18. I think 16.5 is definitely a bit too low. So these are the 2 props, guys, that we're going to be playing for Saturday's divisional round, 2 playoff games. I will be back probably Saturday night to record a video for the props on Sunday that I like. So be on the lookout for that if you're going to be watching the games on Sunday and you want some props to play on Sunday. But hopefully we can hit these two plays for Saturday's games. As always, guys, I do appreciate you watching these videos and supporting the Prizepicks content. If you guys did enjoy, hit that like button down below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And if you are new to Prizepicks, if you don't have an account over on Prizepicks, again, you can sign up linked down below in the description, or just use that promo code NOAH when you do sign up for Prizepicks, and you will get your first deposit matched up to $100. But that's all that I got for tonight, guys. Good luck on the slate. Appreciate you guys watching the content. As always, we'll see you in the next one.